Hello, it is I, Michael Wiffle from Drakle Studios. But today I am known as the Ginger Critic. And let's just say I'm a huge fan of Disney. We all are. That nice, calm movie company that fills our hearts with drama, comedy, and of course, magic. And if for any of you who don't like Disney, go to hell! Give me one good reason why you do not like Disney, you haters. They're villains? That's your reason? They're just... Actually, now that you think about it, that actually is a really good reason. These villains from this movie company are like either the worst or the best. Mostly the best. Those cold and blooded villains that either scare your child or just make them play and laugh. But we all love them, these devious demons from hell. Which is why for my first review, I'm gonna count down the top 10 Disney villains. I'm excluding Pixar from here, so don't expect any cowboys or any cars. Now then, let's get started on the top 10 most evil demons that Disney ever created. Shall we? Let's go!
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baddest of them all? You don't have to say
Number 10.
'cause I already know. It's me. Now shut your pie hole.
Lady Tremaine from Cinderella. Let's start out the list with the evil stepmother that started it all. Well, besides Queen from Hilda, but still, Lady Tremaine brought in the big bucks when it came to that section. Her entire plot in the movie was to make Cinderella's life a living hell. You think all stepmothers would treat their stepchildren the same as their real children. But nope! Lady Tremaine totally goes from there. She makes Cinderella do everything. Feed the animals, wash the house, the entire house, feed the cat, bring breakfast. And what does Tremaine do? She gives her real daughters anything she wants and teaches them to sing horribly. Sounds like an old elderly woman version of Justin Bieber to me! Oh, come on. A lot of people do Justin Bieber songs. I had to get one in there. Lady Tremaine is one of those villains which I just want to punch in the goddamn face. And if she was a man, I'd also kick her in the nutsack. But she is devious in a way, and she does have one of the most creepiest stares in all of Disney history, which just creeps your kid out. And she was also the one who started one of the most famous scenes in all of fairy tale history.
Drakle? No, I don't. I think she's... why, you little thief! They're my thieves! Give them here! Oh, no! Oh, and look, that's my sash wearing my sash. She can't! You God, please! This is mine! And my ribbon! Thief! Take kitchen ring! Oh, you are straight!
Man, talk about someone who's jealous. Devious, cruel, but we loved every single minute of her acting. Lady Tremaine, the goddamn stepmother bitch of Disney.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baddest of them all? You don't have to say it, 'cause I already know. It's me, now shut your pie hole.
Queen Grimhilda, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The Disney villain which started it all. And boy did we love her. Her entire plan was to be the fairest of them all. And it all started with that famous line.
Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
But of course there was only one person who was standing in her way. And that was Snow White. And what does she do? What all jealous people do? Kill them. Yep, he goes and tries to kill Snow White. I've come as you requested, your majesty.
Take her far into the forest. Find some secluded glade where she can pick wildflowers.
Certainly. And is there anything you want me to bring you?
Bring back her heart in this.
Oh, what? But what really confused me was when Queen Grimhilda learned that Snow White was still alive, she goes and turns herself into an old, ugly, wart-nosed beggar. Which leads to the question is, if she had the ability to do that, how come she didn't just make a potion to turn herself into the fairest of them all? Instead of just going and getting herself killed by being smashed by a boulder. And that was a really terrifying death scene. Actually, no, I think the most terrifying death scene was playing from Tarzan. Anywho, I guess what Queen Grimhilda was trying to teach us is not to take apples from strangers, because you might just end up getting poisoned. Queen Grimhilda, the Queen of Disney.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baddest of them all? You don't have to say
Number 8.
'Cause I already know. It's me, now shut your pie hole.
Ursula, the Little Mermaid. I think that everyone knows this villain. The Octopus Lady, the Witch of the Sea, the underwater version of Miley Cyrus. I'm only being honest! Ursula is one of those villains who again only desires one thing. Power. But she went to just big risks just to obtain it. Ruining dramatic moments, stealing voices, seducing men. Yeah, definitely an underwater version of Miley Cyrus. confused me though is that if he was able to turn herself into a pretty human woman, how come she didn't just turn herself into a mermaid and flirt at the castle and steal Tremaine's trident? That's, again, just one of those villains who doesn't take the easy way out. Well, besides from that, she's an entertaining and great villain. She especially pulled off one of the greatest Disney villain songs ever made.
Come on, you poor unfortunate soul! Go ahead, make your choice. Keep singing!
I still get goosebumps every time I hear that. Ursula, the terror that lives
Under the sea. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baddest of them all? You don't have to say.
Number 7.
I already know. It's me. No, shut your pie hole.
Jafar from Aladdin. Jafar. The great sand pirate. Come on! He has all the signs. Twisted beard, dark voice,
You are late.
a cool sense of humor, and he even has a parrot on his shoulder. A flipping parrot! Anywho, Jafar is by far one of my most favorite and memorable Disney villains. He had everything. Magic, a funny assistant, and even a hypno-scepter! A hypno-scepter! His entire plot was to find a mystical genie which could grant him 3 wishes. Which would be, well, the coolest thing ever! But when he finally found where the genie of the lamp is, he couldn't get to it. So what did he do? Go find Aladdin. But he again fails to get it. So what does he do? Hypnotize the Sultan and then to try to get it for him. Well, that's what we think. But really, he's just hypnotizing the Sultan to get him to marry Jasmine so he could overthrow the Sultan and throw them all down a cliff.
Curse!
It makes me wonder again, if he was able to hypnotize people, how come he didn't hypnotize the Sultan to give him the throne? Seriously, what's with all these villains not taking the easy way out? They're villains! Another thing I like about Jafar is when he finally does get what he wants, he just looks so dang crazy when he obtains it. You first see him as a wizard, and then you see him as a giant snake! Yes! A giant snake! Also, he seems to be pretty punny.
Princess, your time is up. Don't toy with me. Things are unraveling fast now, boy. Get the point?
The wizard that could pack a punch in almost any desert kingdom. Jafar, the sand wizard pirate of Disney.
The universe is mine to command, to control! Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baddest of them all? You don't have to say.
Number 6.
I already know. It's me. No, shut your pie hole.
Dr. Facilier, aka the Shadow Man from Princess and the Frog. Now, I know a lot of people like this villain, and we probably put him around the number 1 or the number 2 spot, but I put him at number 6, and here's the reason. See, Dr. Facilier is a great villain and all, with his
friends on the other side.
How did he even meet them? Oh well. But he's pretty much useless on his own. Like, the only thing he's really good for by himself is his shadow clone, which I really, really want. But he always has to ask his friends on the other side for help. Oh, please! Friends on the other side, can you lend me some cash so I can buy some new voodoo products? They're having a 2-for-1 deal! I would get it myself, but I can't get a job and no one will hire me. But you're asking me, if Facilier is so pathetic, then why is he above Ursula and Jafar? Well, the reason for that is because he put together one of the greatest Disney villain songs I've ever heard.
Transformation Central! Reformation Central! Transmogrification Central! Can you feel it?
And he again has that amazing Shadow Ganger, which I still want. And he killed Ray, the comedic side character of the whole movie. Which is something you guys did not do, ha, Ursula and Jafar, ha 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 ha, he's above you, ha 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 ha. Oh, no, I was just kidding, I was just kidding. Another reason why Facilier is at number 6 is because when I found out who he was voiced by, I was just like, hell yeah!
It is my trust you must earn. Arbiter?
That's right! He's the same guy who voiced the Arbiter from Halo! Which leads to the question, what does it take for someone to go full badass alien warrior to a crazy Shadow Man doctor? That is just going to be left unanswered, folks. Capturer of Frogs, Ruler of Shadows, Master of Voodoo, Dr. Facilier, the Shadow Man of Disney. Number 5.
I already know it's me. Now shut your pie hole.
Judge Claude Frello from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now this is what Dr. Facilier should have been like. Unlike all the other Disney villains I talked about so far, Judge Claude Frello kind of gave off the spine-chilling feeling in the very first scene. What really surprised me about him was that he always called himself a Christian, but really he was more like a terrorist. He torched flipping cities and buried people alive! He was indeed just one of the most darkest Disney villains ever. And he also seemed to make this movie a bit more teenager. Like, because if a first grader or a second grader saw this movie, they would probably flip out. Because 1, he killed an innocent woman in the very first scene. 2, he sniffed a girl's hair. Number 3, his villain saw him recruit any toddler out. And 4, he's just like Umbridge from Harry Potter because he thought he was doing the right thing. You're still impressed that she didn't die in the movie. But when Harry knocked her out, I was like, woohoo! Frello's villain song is probably one of the most well-done songs in all of history. Even more than You Poor Unfortunate Souls. Because this song just gave like the spine shiver that it deserves. Just looking at those faceless monks still creeps me out. Judge Claude Frello, the Christian of Satan.
And he shall smite the wicked and plunge them into the fiery pit.
Mirror on the wall, who's the baddest of them all? You don't have to say.
Number 4.
I already know it's me. Now shut your pie hole.
The Coachman from Pinocchio. Out of all the villains on this list, the Coachman is by far the most sinister. His plan was to turn all the stupid little boys into jackasses. Not that they were anyway! The coachman was indeed the son of Satan himself. Of course he wasn't in the movies long, but he did cause the most evil. Not only did he sell donkey boys, but he was also never defeated, and he gave us one of the most creepiest stares in all of cinema history.
Oh no, there's no risk. They never come back as boys.
Jesus! God golly, it's almost like King Dedede's face was dipped in tomato sauce! Another reason why the coachman is so sinister is because he let the little boys drink, smoke, and beat the crap out of each other. Yeah, that seems like some good stuff to show a little kid. Sinister, diabolical, but totally likable, the coachman. A little boy's worst nightmare.
Quiet! You boys have had your fun. Now pay for it.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baddest of them all? You don't have to say,
Number 3.
'cause I already know. It's me. Now shut your pie hole.
Chernobog from Fantasia. Monster rises from Bald Mountain up to the number 3 spot. But also into little kids' nightmares! Chernobog is the devil himself. He's just like the coachman. He's unpredictable, dark, scary, and of course, just plain scary. Look at those eyes, they're just staring right into your soul. The reason Chernobog is above the coachman is because he had something that the coachman didn't. And was to scare us right at his first appearance. Just seeing a devil open its wings is scary enough on its own. But nope, they wanted to scare little kids even further, so they had him summon evil spirits from the dead and kill them. And terrorize an entire town. Man, I know what I'm going to be dressing up for Halloween this year. Chernobog, of course, is one of those villains who doesn't sing throughout the entire movie. And that's the kind of villain I like best. The kind of villain that doesn't sing, doesn't talk. It's because you don't really need to do anything to make yourself be scary. You just have to do it with motion. Do it with drama. Or background music. But you don't have to say anything. And Chernobog gives a great example for that. Which is why he's at the number 3 spot. Chernobog. Disney's devil. Literally.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baddest of them all? You don't have to say,
Number 2.
'cause I already know. It's me. Now shut your pie hole.
Scar from Lion King. One of my 2 most favorite Disney villains has finally come onto the list. Scar is everything of which a villain should be. He's sneaky, has a deep dark voice.
Temper. I wouldn't dream of challenging you.
Stunning appearance, and taste for blood. My God, imagine what would happen if he was bought as a pet!
What?
Howdy, partner. What brings you here?
What?
Hello, I'm John Arbuckle, and I would like to buy a cat because I'm lonely at my house.
What?
Alright, just take your clothes out of 50,000. Those don't take too long. I'll take that one, please. Probably my most favorite scene was when he killed Mufasa. Not just because it contains his best line in the whole movie.
Long live the king.
But he also makes Simba feels sad and responsible.
Ever means for these things to happen. But the king is dead. And if it weren't for you, he'd still be alive.
God, he's an asshole, but I still love him. His fight scene with Simba all grown up was epic enough, but his death was way off the chart. Getting killed by hyenas is not a really clean way to go out.
No, let me explain. No, you don't understand. No, I didn't mean... No.
Sorry about that, Scar. Cunning, cruel, and a really calm attitude. Scar, the grown-up emo version of Hobbs.
Be prepared.
Yes, our teeth and ambitions are bared.
Be prepared.
Okay, so I've listed off 9 evil goons so far. But for my first countdown, I'm doing something interesting and calling a tie for number 1. That's right, folks, a tie. And I'm not letting one person take the crown, I'm letting 2 duel for it. The first pick is really a biased pick that will apply only to you viewers and not to me as much, but I still think it should be at number 1. The next is a pick that really applies to me, which I think should have the number 1 title. So what are we waiting for, folks? Let's get started!
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baddest of them all? You don't have to say.
First, number 1 Disney villain is... Maleficent, from Sleeping Beauty.
Why, it's Maleficent. What does she want here?
The Mistress of Evil takes her rightful place at number 1. Why? Because she's flipping Maleficent! That's why! Just like Frollo, she too committed a crime in her very first appearance.
I too shall bestow a gift on the child.
Oh my god, what is this? A lollipop? A castle? A new friend?
Before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die.
Even though she had the same dark attitude as Queen Hilda and Lady Tremaine, she had motherfucking magic! Which she could use to kill someone or turn into a dragon. That's one of these badasses in Ghost Rider 2 when he turned that crane into a giant flaming chainsaw! Which I just have to say, that scene was awesome. But of course, not even her dragon form to stand up to the power of fairy magic. I guess that's what she gets for trying to kill the princess and leaving everyone scarred. Don't worry, Scar. No pun intended. Even though Maleficent would be a good villain to conclude this video to, we still have another number 1 villain to talk about.
Oh no!
Seize that creature!
Stand back, you fool!
Now I know what you're thinking. What could possibly rival up against all those other villains and stand up against Maleficent? Well, the answer will actually surprise you. The second number 1 Disney villain is...
You don't have to say, 'cause I already know. It's me who now shut your pie hole.
Loki, Big Hero 6. Yes, Loki is coming at number 1. So... Stop your complaining! Anyway, back to Loki. Aside from Scar, he is my second most favorite Disney villain of all time. First, it was just Scar, but once Big Hero 6 came out, I had to add a second. I know a lot of villains are like yokai, but he just takes the cake. Because not only does he have like a freaking cool black leather costume, complete with like the Gookie mask or whatever that shit is called, he also had the best weapon ever. Microbots. Hero's microbots, which he presented to his brother Tadashi, his friends, his aunt, and Robert Callahan. The way Hero used them was good and all, but the way yokai used them was even better. Because he actually used them for what they actually should have been like in the show. Throwing crates, chasing down little boys, and their marshmallow robots, having a car chase. Everything that they should have been used for. Another thing that's great about this villain is that up to the point where his identity was revealed, he never talked. Like, I like that kind of villain. He just doesn't talk until the time it's right. Because, as I said before, you do not need to talk or say anything to introduce your evil self. All you have to do is just motion. That's all it takes. Motion is power. Motion is a definition. Motion is, well, everything a villain needs to do. Also, the yokai never said it all in the movie. And of course, I like villain songs, but this guy just doesn't need a song at all. You can already feel the evil coming from him. And once his identity was revealed, it was an instant jaw drop moment. That's right, it was Robert Callahan. I thought it was going to be... Whoa! When we get to there, I need to talk about something else. Not only is yokai number one just for him being Robert Callahan, but also because he was responsible for Tadashi's death. So just like Scar, he too killed off one of the main characters. Okay, so maybe he didn't technically kill him, he kind of just protected himself, but he let Tadashi die! Anyway, most people were hoping that yokai was going to be Tadashi somehow, but no, he was just Robert Callahan. And I respect the movie for doing that. Also, unlike other Disney villains, the yokai wasn't planning on like conquering the world or a city or even trying to kill the main characters. He was just trying to get revenge for his daughter, who he thought had died. And let's just say, his daughter is someone who a lot of guys would probably want to... Yeah. Anyway, back to Callahan. He was the kind of villain I've always wanted to see. The one who is always serious, does not mess around, and just...
What are you doing?
There's nothing else to explain there. That's because that's who Lokai is. He doesn't sing, he doesn't screw around. He's serious. Every single bit of him is serious. And I respect him for that. Another thing I respect him for is that he, unlike other Disney villains again, when he saw that his daughter was still alive but she was taken from him once again, he regret everything he ever did as Lokai, the #1 Disney villain.
This ends now!
Well, there it is, folks. The top 10 plus a tie for the most evil Disney villains ever created on Earth. And that's it for my first top 10. If you want me to do another top 10 or react to a certain video of some sort, or even review a movie, put some suggestions in the comments below. And remember, I am the Ginger Critic. The critic with a normal appearance on the outside, but a lot of stuff you do not want to know about on the inside. I'll see you next time, and I am out.